What's up, everyone? We have a lot of news to talk about today. First off, we have a huge skew in the amount of people betting against Bitcoin versus betting for Bitcoin. We're also going to talk about adoption on a state level. While some bills are now dead, we do have some progress being made. We're also going to talk about Bitcoin on the Fear and Greed Index. It's near a level it was during max fear, during a fantastic buying opportunity in the past. We're also going to talk about the SEC and some cases that have been dropped. Fantastic news while Bitcoin is just selling off. No one seems to care. And we're going to talk about some record outflows from the spot ETFs. First off, we have 16 billion in possible liquidation, suggesting where Bitcoin is heading next. Bitcoin tends to go in the direction that gives the market makers the most money. There is $16 billion in possible liquidations from Bitcoin's price here to the $107,000 level, a level Bitcoin not long ago was at. Kevin Capital, in a post on X, revealed that there's only 1.5 billion in long liquidations from the current Bitcoin price to 77,000. However, there's 16 billion in shorts to 107,000. This is, as the analyst says, one of the biggest disparities in history. And while all this is happening, crypto fear and greed index is now at 21, I should say. I want to show you something very interesting. During all that Mt. Gox fear, during the sell-off, the multi-month, basically downwards range Bitcoin was in throughout the fall of 2024, Bitcoin crashed down to 49K. In hindsight, that was a fantastic buying opportunity. We are near that level on the fear and greed index. On the 6th of August, crypto hit 17 on the fear and greed index, and that did mark the bottom at 49K. For those contrarian investors, this is a fantastic time to buy. You buy the fear and you sell the greed. You buy while people are fearful. You buy while people say the top is in, when the cycle is still far from over. We have some recent news regarding strategic Bitcoin reserves on a state level. According to a recent state document, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill has been recommended to pass by the Oklahoma State House Committee. The bill passed with a majority 12-2 vote, but it's not over yet. It still needs to proceed to the full voting stage of the House of Reps. Now, I'll leave this Bitcoin Laws website down below for you guys, but it basically gives you the progress on the state reserves. There are currently 62 measures in total. This could be a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This could be pension funds, retirement funds. There are 31 strategic Bitcoin reserves introduced, and 25 are still alive. Some have died, sadly. Yes, there are some states that have rejected these proposals. Utah currently is the farthest along, followed by Arizona and now Oklahoma. I do think it's a matter of time until we see some approvals. We will get more rejections, no doubt. We will get more dead in the water. But there will be some that pass, and those that pass are going to lead the way. As others over time revisit these strategic Bitcoin reserves, those that approve are going to be that much earlier. Those that approve will be able to buy Bitcoin, stack their Bitcoin much earlier. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think all of these bills are just going to get rejected? How many do you think will pass, if any? We do have a record daily outflow from the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, Fidelity's FBTC saw the most outflow, 344.65 million, followed by IBIT, 164.37 million, with the remaining funds registering outflows of less than 100 million each. Now, this article mentions the possibility of the carry trade arbitrage, basically buying the spot ETF and simultaneously selling CME futures to pocket the premium. And this could be, as mentioned, due to these Bitcoin and ETH carry trades offering barely more than the 10-year treasury note. The annualized 1-month basis or premium in the CME futures dropped to 4% Tuesday, the lowest in nearly 2 years, down significantly from almost 15% in December, meaning the yield for this cash and carry trade has declined massively in recent time. Now, it's not just bad news, ETF outflows, state reserves being rejected. We also have some massive positive news lately regarding the SEC. And we had news the other day that the SEC drops the Uniswap investigation. But this isn't it. There's other cases dropped as well, such as Robinhood, OpenSea, Coinbase. As of yesterday, the SEC's investigation has officially been closed. The SEC is taking no enforcement action. As said by Uniswap, this is a huge win for DeFi. It reaffirms what we've always known. The technology we build is on the right side of the law, and our work is on the right side of history. Unicorn emoji. Alright guys, now it looks like Bitcoin is trading in a falling wedge pattern. If it breaks from this descending support, we're likely to test the 200 MA at about 82,000. And in terms of the SMAs, we are actually right here at the 100 SMA, which coincides with this descending trend line as well. And also, we are oversold on Bitcoin, which we do not see very often. You guys might have not seen my last video, but I talked about how in almost 2 years, Bitcoin has only been oversold a handful of times. This is one of those times. The last time was during the Mt. Gox fear in August. Oh, and by the way, this was an RSI divergence. The price was dropping, the RSI was rising. This did mark our reversal. But basically throughout this bull cycle, as long as you buy when oversold, you buy the fear, you are going to do all right in time. And let me show you how many times we have been oversold ever since the $15,000 bear market low in 2022. Well, we hit oversold in March of 2023. We hit oversold again in August of 2023. Didn't hit oversold again until all that Mt. Gox fear, June of 2024, and again in August. Well, we are now oversold again. Looking back throughout this bull run, every time you have seen Bitcoin oversold, it has been a fantastic buying opportunity in hindsight. In my opinion, this is another one of those times. And also, by the way, this falling wedge is a bullish pattern. If it breaks, it'll be invalidated. But if it holds up, I do think there's a good chance of a bullish breakout. And while a rising wedge pattern is bearish, a falling wedge pattern is bullish. It basically shows that a sliding price is starting to lose momentum. It's tightening up. It's consolidating. Buyers are starting to move in to slow the fall, although it doesn't feel like it right now. In the end, follow the cycle. I do think we go much higher this year. I still think 150K is more than a valid price target. And these corrections come along with Bitcoin here and there. And this isn't even that bad compared to Mt. Gox. If it ends up being the same scope as the Mt. Gox fear, which in my opinion was a worse time, we had billions and billions of dollars of sell pressure from Mt. Gox. And of course, all the fear surrounding that, all the horrible sentiment, which is similar to where we are here sentiment-wise in my opinion. But you know, if we saw a similar drop to Mt. Gox, which I personally doubt, that would bring Bitcoin to about 72,000, a target the analysts are calling for, because basically we ran straight up from about 72,000, 73,000 before actually starting to consolidate. It was pretty much a run straight up. For us to get back in that range we have been in back in late 2024 during the Mt. Gox fear, during the series of lower highs, lower lows, before we broke out and went higher and broke all-time highs. For us to get down to that level, we would basically need the same type of drop that we got from Mt. Gox. The thing is, we're at the same level on oversold as we were at 49K for Mt. Gox fear. We're at similar level in terms of the fear and greed index. In my opinion, Bitcoin's drop for the most part is over. Could I be wrong? Sure. Throughout this bull run, throughout this bull cycle, in hindsight, it has been a buying opportunity every time, buying the oversold on the daily on Bitcoin, buying the fear. And I do think this is not going to be any different than those times. We still have the cycle on our side. We have an SEC that is favoring these crypto companies, that is dropping these lawsuits. I think that is a big deal, and the market is completely ignoring it, it seems. In the end, guys, you want to buy the fear. We're at similar fear levels, like I said, to August, to the Mt. Gox bottom, the 49K drop. We're at similar levels in terms of fear. We're at similar levels of October and November of 2022, which did mark the bear market bottom, 15K. We were at those levels, and we are at those levels in terms of the fear and greed index. If you believe Bitcoin will end this cycle strong, end this year strong, if you still believe in the cycle, you want to buy this fear. While everyone is panicking, while everyone is more willing to buy when there's greed, when Bitcoin is near all-time highs, when Bitcoin has already run, you want to buy the fear. You want to buy when the average public is worried, the average public is selling and thinks Bitcoin's cycle is done for some reason. The earliest cycle in history. In a cycle where we have spot Bitcoin ETFs, we have potential state adoption, we have massive publicly traded companies buying Bitcoin. But how are you guys feeling? Do you think Bitcoin drops more from here? Do you think there's a fantastic buying opportunity? The Bitcoin miners will obviously depend on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin keeps dropping, the Bitcoin miners are likely to keep dropping. One thing to realize though is Bitcoin's price here versus last quarter, where some were posting profitability, Bitcoin is at a better average price than last quarter. And these Bitcoin miners in terms of value are getting to levels we rarely see, with many not trading at any sort of premium. They're basically, in many cases, trading right around the assets they own. There is no premium to these Bitcoin miners. The market is fearful of them. But in the end, they do depend on Bitcoin recovering, which I do think is coming very soon. But what say you? Are you feeling good about the crypto space? Are you ready to give up? Or do you see opportunities like this and buy heavier than normal? Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.